Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome to the School of Science. My name is Luke and this is the Everton Stadium update for the 22nd of June 2024. Now, it was an absolute scorcher today and I will say the sun being as intense as it is, a couple of the images might be a little bit washed out, so if there are, apologies on that one. But I did try and get everything in the best way possible. Also, the local bird population was really not taking a liking to the drone today, so we had a lot of that to work with. But we persevered and we got some really nice shots of the stadium and everything moving along. So the cladding is coming closer and closer and closer together now. It is exciting to see this, and once it is finally all together, that is going to be a lovely image of what is soon to be. So what we've got right now is apparently it's meant to be only a few weeks out before all of it is together on this east stand side, and it won't be far away on the west stand as well. So we've got a lot to look forward to on that one, and overall the site is just moving along rather nicely at the moment. And if you caught a glimpse of it there, you can actually see on the south stand you've actually got the frame in there for the solar panels, so that's one to also look out for in the very, very near future apparently. But yeah, there's a lot going on around the site. The only annoying thing is a lot of the stuff right now is on the inside. It's one of those things, and it was one thing I had to come to terms with when we were doing this drone footage. It was one of those where we can get the exterior, and we can get the exterior all the live long day, but we're never going to truly be able to catch the interior and all the workings going on in the interior and whatnot. Now, granted, Everton have been very, very kind, and they've provided us with images and videos and everything of everything going on inside. We've seen the brilliant dressing room, we've seen all like the concourse and everything, and all the, you know, concession areas, the parts with all the restaurants and bars are going to be. We've seen all that, but I'm never going to be able to capture that. Well, I might be able to get a bit of footage when I eventually do go in. I've been contacted by the heads of PR with Everton Football Club, and what's going to happen is at some point in the future, I haven't been confirmed with the dates or the time or anything like that as of yet, but we have basically come to an agreement, and all the drone flyers on a lot of the social media people regarding Everton and the updated stadium and everything are going to be going in to actually have a tour inside the stadium itself. So we're going to be doing it in little groups and everything because there's an awful lot of drone flyers at the moment. So we will try and get some footage while we're in there to get on the channel so you guys can actually see some stuff from my perspective. And what I would like to do as well, when the stadium is very close to being finished, so around probably say October, November time, I wouldn't mind getting my hands on a GoPro or an action camera and actually doing a walk like I've done in the past from a certain part, whether it be Sandhills walking down, whether it be from the city centre walking down, whether it be from Goodison walking all the way down, and just doing a nice walk, and I can do a little bit of commentary over it, you know, talking about things, how the development's going on, how Everton's going on, similar to how we do it with the drone video and whatnot. It's something I wouldn't mind actually doing. It would be a nice touch. But I digress, guys. As we go over the south stand right now, as I said, solar panels are going in, and you can also see here, I do actually have to bring the, what's name up a little bit. So I bring the gimbal above its zero line, so you can see underneath the undersides of the roof, and we can see that they're doing cladding under there as well. One thing to note as well very quickly, so where the glass is here on the sides, one thing that has actually been noticed, and you'll actually see it here as well, is you will actually see that the Archibald Litch design is actually on the pieces themselves. So that tells me that they might keep it like that, and the cladding may not go onto it, because it's a nice touch. It's one that's reminiscent of what we had back at Goodison Park. But the thing is, this is one thing that's actually been sort of dwelling on my mind a little bit. Are we holding too much onto the past with Everton Football Club? Now, bear in mind, we love our heritage and our history, but I just feel that we're holding on too hard a little bit to our past. I would like someone to make a counter argument. I mean, don't get me wrong. We learn from the past to go forward, so that in that regard is a very brilliant thing to think about, and having the past around us reminds us of the things of the past, the good things that we've done and the mistakes that we've done, and we can learn from all that. But when you look over the stadium, there's just way too much of the past. If I don't want to sound negative, please don't get me wrong, I do not want to sound negative, but it's just like we're clinging on to that past so hard. Like our triumphant times back in the 80s, the stuff back in the 60s, back when we were founders, back when we owned Anfield. We hold on to those times so hard for some reason. I feel like when we go into Bramley Moor, this needs to be the line in the sand. We're going to say, right, this is a new chapter in Everton Football Club. We are going to make this our new start. And we push forward from there. We don't rely so heavily on the past, looking at our past successes and everything. But yeah, that was a complete and off-tangent piece based solely on an old Goodison design. So one very quick one before we go off topic completely again when we go around the North Stand. So the Isle of Man Ferry Terminal has actually, well, it's not properly opened yet, but they've opened it up so the public can actually go around the site itself and have a look around. And one thing Nick, who does Mr. Drone UK, mentioned is that entire walkway all the way down. It goes from Alexandra Park through Central Quay and all the way up. That apparently is going to be opening up. So what will probably happen is you can probably get, well, this may not happen for a few years, but, and I would like to see this, people who live in the Wirral and people who live around that area, so they could potentially actually get a ferry across the Mersey, dock up in the Isle of Man ferry terminal, if it doesn't, you know, conflict with any of the Isle of Man ferries, and walk down to Bramley Moor from there. Then after the game, walk back and get the ferry back home. That would be a really nice touch. That I do think that would be a great touch, and it would be a nice little money spinner as well, not only for Everton Football Club but for the city as a whole. You could literally get a ferry across the Mersey. Now, granted, you can actually get a ferry already and get onto Man Island, so that could defeat the entire purpose of that. But it was just a quick thought I was having to think of. Speaking of which, you can actually see the ferry there in the background. I've just noticed that now. I think that is actually the ferry. It might be, it might not be. You can't tell really because you can't really see you can't see the colours of it. It's the big yellow ferry that you can get from Man Island all the way over to the Birkenhead, I think it is. But yeah, looking over now on the inside, we can see more of the seats in the south stand, so we can actually see the safe standing seats now are coming along very nicely. They're showing a bit more uniformity now, because if you remember last week, I did actually mention that the seats looked a little bit sporadic and spread, so there's a lot more uniformity on it now. And one thing to mention as well, again, I've said this in the past, and I'm going to say it again. Where are the white seats? Come on, Everton. Where are our white seats? We want to see some white seats. We need to see some text and colours. Because I remember, well, everyone knows Goodison Park. When we had Umbro, we actually had the Umbro diamonds. And if anyone is around the GT7 or GT8 area of Goodison Park, or sits in the lower Gladys GT7, GT8, look at the wall by where we come in and go out. You'll notice the Umbro diamonds are there faintly. You can still see them. It's one that always makes me laugh. Well, it does tickle me when I see them, because you can see that they've just hastily painted over the Umbro diamonds, and you can still see the outlines very faintly in that little area. It's a random one, but it always makes me giggle when I see it. It's like, will he remove that, or will he repaint it when, if we ever get Umbro back? I'm not sure whether, I think Castor UK is meant to be in partnership with Umbro as well. So if once our contract with Castor ends, if it's a good contract run, we'll either extend it or we could go over to Umbro, which basically means that we're still, with air quotes, with Castor. But yeah, overall, everything around the stadium is looking great. I'm sorry I haven't really talked too much about the stadium itself. There was a few things I just wanted to talk about, and it has ended up becoming a few little off-topic tangents and whatnot. So apologies in advance for that. Also, very quickly, you probably noticed it. I didn't notice it until I reached the end of my actual first part of the video, and I do actually do when I go right over top, the centre circle's gone. The little pitch that was in the middle of the stadium, that's gone. So that now, where that was, is just a massive mound of dirt. I think it's dirt, or yeah, it looks like dirt. So what's probably going to happen now is you're going to see the, obviously, you're going to see the underwater, the undersoil heating and the water system getting put into here very soon. Because the trenches are all moving along rather nicely. I do not know what the hell is going on inside that bowl, in all honesty. Looking at everything there, it just looks like a mess. So I've got no clue on that. But things can only go up from here. So, yeah. I would like to thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to actually watch this footage. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. It is going to be a scorcher, so stay safe out there. Take care and have a great week. Up the fucking toffees and peace.